All right, procrastination, the hidden plague. So first of all, respect to you. You're watching an unedited long guide without any of the any of the toxic dopamine edits. Man, I can't even speak right now. It shows that you want to learn, and I always respect this. If you're always hungry to learn, I always have respect for you. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back, and let's get to it. So why should you listen to me? So I went from always being behind in my business and university work to being months ahead on both and overcoming procrastination. So I remember a couple of years ago when I was trying to get my book business up and running, I wanted to get ahead in university. I would always, and I mean always, fall behind. Not because I was lazy, not because I didn't want to do the work. I just kept putting the work off in favor of playing video games, getting drunk, going out with friends when I really shouldn't have been. So I got behind, and then I started implementing what I'm going to teach you. And over time, I became a lot more organized. Stuff started to get done, and then things started to get done ahead of time. I'm talking essays getting done weeks in advance, assignments being done months in advance. It even got to a point where I finished a semester with all the semester ending at the end of April, and I was done with all the work in mid-March. So I had about a month and a half of just no university work because I had done it all already. So I'm going to teach you exactly what I had to do and what you should do to improve your procrastination. So my promise to you is I'm going to teach you the strategies and techniques to start overcoming procrastination and get things done. Now, I will preface, it's going to take some time on your end and some effort on your end to really nail this down. But when you get it nailed down, you will become unstoppable. Genuinely. There's so much you can get done when you stop procrastinating. So if you take this video to heart, you will be unstoppable. So, hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Aquino, and I make videos that aim to educate the next generation. So go ahead and click that subscribe button right now if you want to continue getting educated. And one more thing, click the link below for my coaching sales call and improve your time management skills, where you and I will go into a one-on-one call, talk about if we're compatible in terms of coaching. And if we are, which we more than likely will be, I'm going to go ahead and teach you everything and anything I know about time management. I am basically your number one hype man. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you have just as good, if not better, time management skills than I do. That's going to be my goal. You're going to be better than me in time management in terms of understanding and how to do it. I'm going to teach you everything I know and then some, and you'll be on the same level as me. So what we're going to go over today, we're going to go over procrastination versus laziness, the negatives of procrastination, because some of you may not truly understand it, overcoming procrastination, how I personally reduced it, how to kick the procrastination habit, and other useful tips that may not fall into these categories, but you should still keep in mind if you want to improve your procrastination habit. Because at this point, I'm going to keep saying it, it is a habit that everyone has and everyone has built in, and you can control this habit. So I'm going to just get right into it. So procrastination is not laziness. You choose to procrastinate because you don't want to do the hard work. When you procrastinate, over time, it will eat away at you and you'll feel these negative effects. But we can fix this, however. It will just take some effort on your part. So what do I mean by that first line? Procrastination is not laziness. Laziness means you can't do it. Where I can give you a perfect example. This past Wednesday, I had to spend 6 hours moving my book inventory, my shelves, everything out because I had sold it to another company. And I had to help them with the moving. They brought in an entire team of like 20 people and I helped for about 6 hours. And then I immediately went to a wrestling show later in the day. And when I woke up the following day, I was so low energy. I was so extremely lazy. Not because I didn't want to be. I wanted to actually be productive and get a lot more work done. But because I was so tired and so exhausted, I was lazy that day. I still did some work, but for the most part, it was a pretty lazy day. Now, do you notice how I'm saying I didn't have energy? I was exhausted. I did a big project beforehand and just couldn't continue that that movement downward. That's laziness, because I genuinely could not. I normally walk around the block of my neighborhood. I couldn't even get past like a minute or two of walking, but I was like, I'm going to pass out here if I keep walking. I was so tired. Now, change that to, I was doing perfectly fine. I could have done the work, but I decided, yeah, I'll just play some video games for a bit. I'll go hang out with friends, and I'll probably drink a bit, and then I'll wake up the next morning, and then I'll probably do it. That is choosing to procrastinate. When you know you have an essay due, when you know you have business work to do, when you know you have something to do that's important to you, and you choose not to do it, that's procrastination. So the difference of I was so utterly exhausted, I just couldn't do the work, to no, I just wanted to hang out with friends. No, I just wanted to play video games. That's you choosing to procrastinate. And yeah, it'll eat at you, because as you procrastinate, those assignments, those tasks, those projects, those get pushed back. You push them back far enough, and you're like, oh shit, I should have done this so long ago. I just didn't have the time. No, you idiot. You chose to not do it, and now you're suffering the consequences. So now we have to fix it, but it's just going to take a lot of effort on your part, because I can tell you everything in the world. I can give you every secret in the world. And I guarantee you about 90% of you will do absolutely nothing. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. Because I can tell you all the secrets. All you have to do is just take action. And you just won't. So are you going to be that 90% that does nothing? Or will you be that 10% that actually does something productive and takes what I say to heart? Which one do you want to be? I hope you're going to be the 10%. So let's go over some of the negatives. So you have higher levels of stress and illness. I definitely have noticed a lot less illnesses coming on my end. I have barely been sick in the past couple of years, compared to when I was procrastinating all the time, where I would get sick usually once a month, if not once every couple of weeks, because I was always pushing stuff back. So at the end, when I had, I don't know, like 4 essays, 3 projects, and other stuff that had to get done in like a couple of days, after that, I was knocked out and I was sick for days. There's also the consequences of not getting work done. That's kind of obvious. If you're not doing the work you're supposed to at the time you're supposed to, it's just, if it doesn't get done, some people might get mad at you. You might get mad at yourself. Your parents might be disappointed in you. Professors will call you out. Peers might not speak with you. Like, you need to be prepared for that if you plan on procrastinating, because you'll get resentment from peers, coworkers, and family. Do you want that on your conscience? Because you just wanted to go play video games for a couple of extra hours instead of doing your work? Is that what you want? I don't think so. Then you have falling behind on things that matter. So I kept falling behind a lot of my essays and my book work. So I was always playing catch up. So when they were going over new material, I was still on material that was a month behind. When it was time for books, I was always behind on my sourcing. So all the people who were taking action, all the other sellers were there before me. So I was just picking up like 1 or 2 books, when the people who were there early in the morning, ready to go, probably got a fucking cart of books to sell. And I made like 2. So they probably made like $500, and I probably made like 10 from those days. So you fall behind pretty quick. Now, the loss of sleep. What people love to do when they procrastinate is they love to stay up. But that is just adding another problem. If you're losing sleep, you're not going to perform at a high level. And if you're not performing at a high level, you're going to be procrastinating. And if you're procrastinating, you're going to not perform. You're not going to sleep because you need to catch up. It's just an infinite cycle of bad. And I don't think I have to really explain why sleep is so damn important, but you kind of need to sleep. And there's also obviously less time to accomplish tasks. As you let tasks go on for long periods of time, well, you're not going to get them done. And probably the most impactful, if it matters to you, which you really should, is you're not accomplishing your most meaningful goals. It doesn't matter what you do if you're not completing your most meaningful goals in life because you want to procrastinate. What are you doing? You have a purpose. And if you don't have one, you need to figure it out. Because currently my purpose, I said in the beginning, I'm educating, I'm teaching the next generation. So if I just stop recording, stop creating content, that means I'm not accomplishing my meaningful task anymore. If I just keep putting that off for stuff that doesn't matter, that doesn't help you. That doesn't help me. That helps no one. So I have to work. I have to grind. So you have to make sure you understand these negatives. When you procrastinate, you are saying, yes, I'm going to handle this because I have to deal with that. Is that what you want? Because I don't want that. Hell no. So step 1, you need to admit it. You procrastinate. You procrastinate, I procrastinate, everyone procrastinates. But you can't procrastinate if you want to be successful because others will be more successful than you. Think about it this way. It is currently 8 in the morning right now for me. It's a Saturday. I have been up since 4 in the morning, recording videos, grinding content, brainstorming ideas, going on a walk to, relax. And you have probably woken up about 8 o'clock. And you might go and play video games for a bit. You might hang out with friends. You might drink. All the while, you have work to do in school. You may have a job that you might be falling behind in because you think all the other stuff is important. Do you understand? I do my work early in the morning so I don't have to procrastinate it to later on in the day. I could do this later on in the day, but that would procrastinate it. But I get it done right away. So in the end, I will be more successful than you if you continue to procrastinate. Just let that sink in for a second. Because you decided that all those unimportant things matter to you, I'm going to be ahead of you. And then you're going to be jealous and envious of my success. You're like, how did he do it? Like, this fucking dude just bullshit. Like, the lucky bitch. Like, no, I got up. I started working so I don't have to do this later. Every day for years. And you did the opposite. Of course I'm going to succeed. So right now, I want you to say, right now, not in your head, out loud, maybe even write it down and put it up on the wall. I procrastinate and will work hard towards procrastinating less. The key is less. Obviously, there are days where I will procrastinate. And I even say it's like, yeah, I could be doing work, but I will procrastinate it because I want to do this. You have to be able to admit it and work on it. Then you need to understand why you procrastinate. There's always an underlying reason as to why you procrastinate. So you have to find it. So my example was the work environment. So I used to work at home in my old house, and I was in between my family. So my siblings were in one room, parents were in another room, my grandma lived under me, and it was constantly loud, constant music. The neighbors were loud. It was not a great working experience, so I would just never do anything, and I would just do anything else. And, it just didn't work well for me. Like, I was working in my bedroom, but I didn't really get a lot done. Then, when I was going to school for university, I worked in the library instead. Or sometimes I work at a coffee shop or something like that. I would just try and work anywhere else. And I actually got work done because the environment fit what I wanted. I wanted to work, so I went to the library because the library was quiet. No one's there to talk. Everyone's there to work and grind. So therefore, I started working and grinding. I started finishing stuff on time. And then eventually got ahead. So that might be your solution. If you have a really loud environment that's too busy, maybe go to a library. Public libraries are everywhere. Go to a coffee shop. Maybe not as good, but it's still pretty quiet compared to your house probably. There are other reasons as well. So it's obviously boring to do your work. And all I have to say is tough shit. Get it done. Poor organization. You might have a completely messy area. Poor organization skills. Poor time blocking. Not using your calendar. Like that all falls into that. There's also doubt that you could get it done at all. Like, you gotta believe in yourself, my guy. You have to. Perfectionism. Understand right now. Nothing is perfect. You will never get anything perfect 100%. Aim for 99%. That's what I've done. I've just started aiming for 99%. If I get it 99% correct, I am more than satisfied. I'm never going to get anything 100. So why should I bother? 99%, totally fine. Poor decision making. You make the wrong decisions. You want to say no to hanging out. You want to say no to playing video games, but you just can't. That will also help. And there's also some other reasons I may not have touched on. So step 3 are strategies to stop procrastinating. So these are kind of the big ones that you have to do. So you need to focus on actually doing and not avoiding. So focus on actually doing the work and not, I could do it later. I could avoid it. I can just push it back another day, push it back another week. It'll get done eventually. If you actually just take the time, sit down and just look at the work and go, how do I go about this? How do I go about doing this? Then you start writing. Then you start working. Then you start actually completing assignments. That's how I would do it. That's what I did as well, where I would look at the essay, the outline, the syllabus, and go, all right, how can I get this done as quick as possible, as efficiently as possible, but as precise as possible? Then I would start writing, making the outline, planning the following day, so on and so forth. Instead of, I've got like 3 weeks. I don't have to do it until then. And then 3 weeks come back. It's like, I haven't started and I have to do this all in 3 hours. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on that end. Just do the work. Focus on trying to do it instead of avoiding it. You want to minimize distractions, both physical and digital. Put that damn phone away. Listen to some lo-fi or white noise or nothing at all. If your area is messy, clean it up. And if it's in an environment where it doesn't suit your work, maybe go to the library or go to a coffee shop or somewhere quiet. I know when I used to live in Virginia, I would go to a nearby library and I got so much work done in there. So go out to places that are quiet and do the work there. Then you also have the eat the frog mentality. Ooh, this is a good one. So if you're given the choice, you must eat this frog, but you can eat it before your yummiest delicious dinner or after your yummy delicious dinner. Which one would you take? If you said before, great job. If you said after, you're wrong, and let me explain why. If you eat it after, you're going to be eating your yummiest delicious meal, or whatever it is, I don't care. And you're going to be thinking about, well, shit, I have to eat this frog now, after. So you're going to be stressed eating it. You're not going to enjoy it. So it's not going to be delicious, yummy. It's just going to be, fine. But I've got to deal with this thing later. But if you eat it before, I was like, well, that shit sucked. I tasted horrible. But now I get to have my delicious, yummy meal. I don't see the benefit of putting it off. If you get it out of the way now, great. Which is why, as I mentioned earlier, I record first thing in the morning. I'm not doing this later. I don't want to have the energy to do this later. I'm just going to say, I'll do it the next day. It's happened before. I've put off recording because I was like, I could just do it later. And then later happens. I'm like, nah, I'll just do it tomorrow. I do it first thing in the morning, get it out of the way. I don't have to think about it. Easy as that. So whatever your hardest task is, whether it be for me recording or for you could be the essay, the project, studying, etc., do that first. Get it out of the way. And you'll see just how much progress you do. If you just do that, honestly, just do the hardest thing first, you'll have immense progress immediately. Then you have to focus on the long-term gains. Now, the reason I bring up my last semester. So this last semester was my one that I graduated in. But I had a lot on my plate. Internship, essay class, a history class, freaking business was booming and we're trying to sell it to someone. And then I had my own things like planning, content creation, like all this. I had so much to do. And they released the syllabuses and all the assignments for the classes. And I decided, screw it. I'm doing all of this work, all of the classroom assignments that were online because they put them all up, like all the questions and stuff that you have to fill out. I'm doing all of this in like a month. Or I think it was like I did most of it in like 2 weeks. And I did it. I sacrificed my short term. So I was grinding on that work for a good like 2 weeks, I would say. Where all I did, I would wake up, grind the work, do my usual stuff, and then go to sleep. And what did that achieve? I didn't have to worry about schoolwork from weeks on end. I didn't have to worry about a damn thing because all I had to do for them was copy and paste my answers into whatever I had to do or whatever that was designated to and submit, and I was done. I had everything done. I think by February, I had 90% of everything done. Mid-March, I was completely done with the semester. So right then, I could have just graduated. Like, if that's how it worked, I would have graduated already because I was done. So you need to focus on the long-term games. If you get all your work done now, what can you do later? If you get it all done now, what fun can you have later? I know for me, when I move in the next couple of weeks, I plan to just grind as hard as I can on the coaching, on my calendar enhancement, on my personal brand, YouTube, you name it, it's getting done. And then if I sacrifice a couple of months, when it comes to 2025, I plan on taking a couple of weeks into El Salvador because my family bought a home and they're going to need someone to go in there and help renovate and such. I'm going to go do that. So if I sacrifice now, do all the work now, don't procrastinate, just do it all, I can have fun for like a month in a nation I goddamn love. Think about it that way. You grind now, you can have fun. You can do all the fun stuff without ever having to worry about the work. Because when I get there, I'm not going to worry. I will have grinded months of work, years of work potentially in the span of a couple of months. So you need to think long term. And the big thing is you need to design your future actions. Now, this one is pretty simple. What does future you want to do? And how can present you help future you get there? So I know that I wanted to really focus on a lot of remote work in the future. I really wanted to do more content creation, more YouTube, more building my personal brand and building my name. But I was still in school. I was still having to go into the physical location of my bookstore and get books, ship them out. I knew I didn't want to do that. So I did everything in my power to try and quicken or remove the need to go to those physical places. So I sold my business. Sold it for like $8,000 overall. So I don't have to go into a physical store anymore in terms of the physical bookstore to ship out books. I don't have to do that anymore. I no longer have to go to school anymore. I'm done. I graduated. I don't have to do that crap anymore. So don't have to worry about that anymore. So now all my time is solely focused on remote work, on working on stuff that I care about, content creation, recording, editing, uploading, brainstorming. Like, this is all stuff that I want to do because this calls to me. So you have to think about that. What calls to you and what can you do that makes you want to grow out of doing what you're currently doing? Because currently I know my future actions is I would like to just have just an armada of people that I'm coaching. Every month, I'm just coaching new people, old people, same people, making new friends, going out and exploring the world. So right now, for 2024, the rest of 24 and the beginning of 25, I'm just going to work so that future me in mid 25, mid 20 or mid 25, late 25, to early 26 is reaping the benefits of what I do now. So by doing all the work now and not procrastinating, you can design your future actions. So how I personally reduced it is I created an organized calendar and I made a plan of the week document where it would basically just kind of jot down what I would kind of do. It was kind of like a to-do list in a way, what I was supposed to do, and then I tried to do it on that day. And if I didn't do it, I just push it to the next day and get it done as the priority. And the calendar, I time blocked everything. I've made videos on this before. You can go through. I have a calendar video. Look that one up. Go through it. Copy it. Just do that. Calendar is the easiest win of your entire life for procrastination because you can clearly tell what you have to do. You can clearly tell what has to get done at what time. So genuinely, if you don't have a calendar, go watch the calendar video. It's somewhere on the channel. I might link it. I might not remember to link it. But you should 100% organize your Google Calendar or Notion calendar, whatever calendar. You need to organize a calendar. Then I also pushed deadlines way earlier than necessary. So, for example, my essay is not due the 15th. It's actually due the 7th. I know I can do it in 2 weeks, but if I give myself 1 week, I can still get it done. So I spent 1 week doing the essay, a second week doing whatever other work I need to get done. That's how I worked with my last semester. No, the deadline for the assignment isn't April 20th. That's actually January 26th. It's January 25th. I need to get it done today. And I did. I didn't have to worry about it. Like, do you understand how busted that is? It's so much better in school, but it's so busted. Just do that. Push deadlines earlier. Get stuff done earlier. So by the time the semester comes, like, oh my God, I have like 8 essays. I have like so many assignments. You're like, I just gotta study. And I'm done, I guess. Like that's what you need, man. It's so liberating. Then you have the mindset shift. So I realized how much time I would get back if I sacrifice now. So if I sacrifice 2 weeks in January, I would have 3 months free for school. If I grinded really hard on books for a month, I would profit 2 or 3 times more than I did it over 2 or 3 months. So you have to keep that in mind. Sacrifice. If you can do that, do it. If you sacrifice your time now for something that you know is going to benefit you later on with time gain back, do it. I have great results with it. You will probably get great results with it as well. And finally, last thing I did was building up that working muscle. So when I first started, I didn't do the hardest task first. I actually did the smallest. And then it would snowball to harder tasks after a while. Then I eventually switched it to the eat the frog mentality. So when I first started, I didn't want to do the hardest work, but I knew I had to do something. So I would like write up the bibliography. Then I would research more, things. Then I would bullet point an outline. Then I would start organizing the essay. Then I would write the essay. Nowadays, I would do it the other way around, where I would just start writing and such. But that's a different thing. So what I would recommend if you're a student, just break down assignments. If you're a businessman, try to create a big goal and try to organize a manner of, okay, so for me, it would be, so I got to sell the business. So to do that, I need to move all the books. But to do that, I need to message moving companies and such. And to do that, I have to find a buyer and just try and find the routes that lead you to your ultimate destination and build off of that. So how to kick the procrastination habit is pretty easy. The biggest thing is you need to be consistent. Consistency is king. So my face is in the way. No. Hang on. There we go. So consistency is king. You want to plan tomorrow, today, with the Ivy League method, which I'll talk about in the next slide. There's visual cues that you should have. So I have a bunch of visual cues. So one of mine has, you are the 1%, just do the fucking work. Do the work, the hard work, especially when you don't want to. Be the man who dominates the world. Like, I have stuff that tells me, do the work. So I was like, oh shit, yeah, I gotta do the work. All right, let's do the work. Be committed to kicking this habit. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna kick procrastination and then just don't mean it. You have to mean it. You have to want it. You have to be hungry for it. And then if you slip back, so there have been times where I've like, I'll procrastinate it. Forgive yourself and get your head back in the game. So don't just go, shit, I fucked up, man. That shit sucks. I guess I'll just try again tomorrow. And if I could be mad about it, don't do that. I was like, shit, I didn't mean to procrastinate. That's my bad. Tomorrow, right back into it. Let's go. And you do it tomorrow. I've actually had a lot of success with that. When I procrastinated, I think a couple weeks ago on recording, I was like, damn, didn't mean to procrastinate it. Shit. Okay. Oh well. Let's regroup, rearm. Let's go tomorrow. And I did. Recorded 5 videos the next day. So be nice to yourself. Don't be an asshole to yourself. So let's go over the Ivy League method I mentioned now. So the Ivy League method. So at the end of the day, write down the 6 most important things you need to accomplish tomorrow, and do not write down more than 6 tasks. So the 6 most important things that you have to do. So for me, that'd be like recording content, content creation, video editing, fucking scripting and all that stuff, right? So that would be some of the tasks. Then I would prioritize them. All right, thanks, man. I would prioritize those 6 items in order of their true importance. So for me, recording is the most important thing, and video editing is the least important thing. Then when you work tomorrow, concentrate on only the first task and work until the first task is finished before moving on to the second. So today, the first task is recording. I'm not done recording. I still have 1 video to record after this. Then I'm going to go into editing. Then I'm going to move into uploading, title, SEO, all that stuff. That's how you should think about it as well. So I have this really important thing. I'm going to work on it until like noon probably. Then I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to work on the second thing. Then approach the rest of the list in the same fashion. At the end of the day, whatever you didn't finish, move it to a new list of 6 for the next day and repeat the process. So today, the last thing I have is content creation for LinkedIn. But if I don't finish all this YouTube stuff, that gets the next priority on the list. So that then becomes the most important thing because I did not finish it. I will get it done tomorrow, the LinkedIn stuff. Today is YouTube, probably. So this is actually a very good way to do it in terms of organizing your tasks and what's important and, combat procrastination. So I would definitely take a screenshot of this, and I would definitely recommend you get this down pat. Now, some other tips for you is act as you go. Do newer work first. I've had multiple instances during that time I was doing work where the professor would drop another essay or another assignment that was due earlier. So switch it. So that is the new priority. So you get it out of the way and everything is fine. So act as you go, do new work first. Then you need to change your mindset to I need to get this done to I choose to get this done. That slight little mind shift will make it a lot nicer. So like I need to get this done so I can have fun. I choose to get this done now so I can have fun later. Simple mind shifts. Mindset shift. Then when you finish a task, this one I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about, but give yourself credit. Like every video I finish, I'm like, all right, nice. That's another one down. Good shit, my guy. And then I do the next one. Same thing. Good shit, my guy. Great. Like give yourself credit. You're doing really difficult work probably. Give yourself some credit. Pat yourself on the back. Like give yourself a little celebration dance. Like, come on. Then there's obviously other time methods like the Pomodoro technique. Like, do something. If any of those feel like work for you, do that. I personally just grind it out for a couple of hours, take a 20-minute break, grind another couple hours and take a break. Like that's how I roll. And then don't multitasking. You only focus on one task. So I'm focused on only recording. I'm not doing anything else but recording. So only focus on the big task that you're working on and don't do anything else. Listening to music is fine, but otherwise, if it diverts your attention, don't do it. Like doing laundry is fine because that's something you have to actively think about, but don't do your taxes and try to do your essay. Like it just won't work. It's just not going to work. Trust me. You can't do it. So that is everything I wanted to cover with you today. So the procrastination versus laziness, negatives of procrastinating, overcoming procrastination, how I reduced it, kick procrastination habit, and other useful tips. Covered my promise, which my promise was I'll teach you the strategies and techniques to overcoming procrastination and get things done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please go ahead and click this links in the description. Let's get that calendar enhancement up. Make sure your calendar is up to snuff. Let's go ahead and talk as well about a coaching potential. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.